The restaurant was completely empty. No music, no chatter, just silence. Then one man walked in, sat right next to us, and turned his phone on speaker. What happened next wasn't violent. It wasn't loud at first. But it was perfectly calculated petty revenge. If you've ever wanted justice without throwing a punch, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe, tap like, and comment if you've ever dealt with someone who thought public spaces belonged to them. Let me tell you how two tired coworkers delivered one of the cleanest, pettiest acts of revenge I've ever been part of. 2 years ago, I was traveling out west for work with a coworker. One of those trips where the road stretches forever, the scenery barely changes, and your patience slowly erodes mile by mile. It was midday, hot, dry, classic middle of nowhere, Utah. We were hungry, tired, and running on caffeine fumes, so when we spotted a Denny's, it felt like salvation. We walked in, and I mean this literally, the place was completely empty. No customers, no noise. Just that faint diner hum, clinking silverware somewhere in the back, the smell of coffee that had been sitting too long. The waitress smiled and said, "Sit wherever you like." We chose a corner booth by the window. Privacy, sunlight, peace. Or so we thought. She took our drink orders and walked away. That's when he walked in. One man, mid-40s maybe. The kind of confidence that comes from never being told. No, he didn't scan the room, didn't acknowledge us. He walked straight to the booth right next to ours. And before his body even settled into the seat, he pulled out his phone, put it on speaker, and started screaming. Not talking, not debating, screaming. About airline tickets, Southwest Airlines, prices, boarding order, long-term parking. At first I thought, okay, maybe it's quick. It wasn't. Then his wife joined the call. Then her brother. Suddenly, this empty diner became the front row seat to a family civil war. All shouted in their native dialect, at full volume, with zero awareness of the fact that other humans existed. I could feel my jaw tightening. Every sentence felt like someone tapping my skull from the inside. My coworker and I exchanged looks. The universal look that says, is this really happening? We tried subtle hints, the glares, the pauses, the exaggerated silence, nothing. He noticed us looking, locked eyes, and glared back. Then he turned his phone volume up. That's when I felt it. That slow, familiar burn in the chest. The one that comes from being disrespected in a place where you can't easily leave. I thought, we did everything right. We chose the corner. We were quiet. Why do we have to endure this? And then something clicked. I stood up, no words, no warning. I slid into the booth on the other side of him. Now his booth was sandwiched between us. I pulled out my phone and called my coworker. He answered immediately. I put him on speaker. He did the same. And without missing a beat, I shouted, I dome car I tie I'm an from H toast. My coworker caught on instantly. No hesitation. I care T X E G O T R K A G I V I N T Melky H E Metil T. The volume in the diner doubled. The man froze. The waitress came back, took one look at us, and her eyes flickered with understanding. She knew. She leaned into the chaos like a professional. She smiled sweetly and said, ask your friend to into my phone and screamed, Och obuyo one into you who are EGS? Ask Kirambolic hate. People talk about teamwork in offices, but this was synergy. The man's family was still yelling through his phone. Now he was yelling louder, one hand clamped over his ear, his face turning red. For 2 full minutes, we ordered our entire meal through each other, at max volume, 6 feet apart. Pancakes, French toast, eggs, milkshakes. Finally, he snapped. He stood up so fast his booth shook and shouted, "Yufkinga?" Then he stormed out of the restaurant. Door slammed. Silence returned, then laughter. From me, from my coworker, from the waitress. We tipped her big and ate in absolute peace. Here's the thing, we didn't touch him, didn't insult him first, didn't escalate beyond mirroring his behavior. We simply held up a mirror, and he couldn't stand what he saw. The satisfaction wasn't loud or explosive. It was quiet, warm. That calm feeling you get when the universe briefly aligns and says, yeah, that was fair. Sometimes revenge doesn't mean destruction. Sometimes it means balance. If you choose to disrupt everyone else's peace, don't be shocked when someone invites you to experience your own noise. If this story made you smile, hit like. If you love smart, harmless revenge, subscribe. And comment below. What's the pettiest revenge you've ever witnessed or pulled off yourself? I'll see you in the next one.